breathing patterns when you're on an airplane. Like work on, some breathing patterns that increase your parasympathetic tone. So a big one, of course, is just very easy for people is just to extend your exhales instead of so you breathe in, and then slowly exhale. Easy for you guys if you can. But for like 3 seconds in and 5 seconds out, pretty simple. But sometimes that could be hard if you're traveling with kids and they're all over you, and so some help out can be helpful. That's a big one for me. But when you're talking about the exercise when you get to the location, and the big thing you're probably thinking about too is hydration, right? And making sure you're what do you do for that too?
Yeah, well, there's a couple things. I mean, first off, and it kind of ties in with the food too. I will not eat on the plane. I
Yes.
do not eat. I don't eat the plane food, and I do everything I can to not eat food. Just
Doesn't matter how long the plane is it?
that's my last transatlantic flight. I fasted as well.
Okay,
And
yeah, you used to.
that's something that Laird Hamilton and I have talked about before. Like, it's such a game changer. Now you could go into all the stuff about circadian cues of not eating and eating.
Yeah, yeah.
But at the end of the day, I just think a good reset before you get to your location, then eating your first meal when you're there, and trying to align it with whatever meal it is where you're landing. So if I'm flying from LA to Munich, I will eat before I get on the plane, even if it's an odd time for me to normally eat. So if it's I will eat at 2 p.m. or something, whatever. I'm gonna have a decent meal before I get on the plane, and then I'm going to fast. And if I land in Munich and I have to hang tight until dinner to eat, I will. Right. So it's
you'll find the time when you get to the place that's out of normal time there.
Yes. Yeah. So like LAX to Munich, usually the main flight like 3:30, leaves 3:30 p.m. LAX, lands in Munich. I believe at like 12. Okay. Right. So then 12 Munich time next day. So then I hang tight until dinner. And so just that last little bit of dinner. And then I just reset. Because something about when you are, especially if I'm fasting, I'm not eating, I can still come back down.
I made already the last time a video about that, like that, cooking in this place, in this room, with the last batch of rice I had over. But now I've settled over to noodles. These packages were all for 66 cents. That one was 66 cents, that was 66 cents, that one too, that too, but that one I didn't look onto it, but I don't know, I like liked these. So I settled over to noodles with Italia legume, some Italianic cauliflower and zucchini and stuff. Bought myself Ivar because our local food nutrition center Lidl doesn't have really anything like to buy, but Ivar was there and Ivar does work. Where here I need it now since I overdosed on the 7-second rule. I actually wanted just to use the tomato gehackt with the rest of the vegan calabrese with tofu, but the vegan calabrese with tofu is not over half, but it's below half. It's either way it's not enough, so I can use the 7-second rule and some of the Ivar for inside there. I think that's enough already. So I bought some lemon squeezes to slice them open and leave them open to die, I suppose. It doesn't taste as alkaline as the last time. I don't know why that was. I used some of the spices inside the water and then some oil, and then I added some of the lemon, and the lemon tasted really like metal. Metal lamp, not really hard, but smooth textured yellow with a soft inside. But I didn't cook that as long and it wasn't even boiling. Maybe I should put that back, but I've used it now in the water unboiling, and that's enough, I think. But the thing is, usually here in this land, Germany, we usually make our noodles, then we cook them just in water or with some prise of salt, and then we put them into the pot with some tomato mark, and then there's some onions inside. We put a little bit water inside, and that's basically what we call penna TV food. But the thing is, it's even way worse than that, because when you give pennas, people with no money, like noodles made in water, I think that's too much. Maybe that will work. Possibly. Well, right. And here in this country, we somewhat have a penna culture, like we call it penna. The people with no money, we call them penna, and we have somewhat the penna culture here in Germany that we usually celebrate, like eating rice with tomato mark, the that with some water and onions. And that food, which we call permaculture food, is even worse than that, than what it is actually. When you would give like some homeless guy which don't have money or something, like your noodles you made at home for panna, something, like you don't have any money but you made some noodles with tomato mark and some onions and some water, and you generally use then a piece of salt inside the water. But that is actually way worse. The pandas, when they eat that food, they will actually get ill and insane and more prone, I think it's called, to be active alcoholics. But the thing is, many people know that eating food means that you eat salt. Because when you eat salt, then you know it's going into your heart stream and stuff, and your heart uses the salt like for neural reasons and stuff. Let's keep it that way. And many people in Germany, which live like in these antenna cities like I do, have like white skin and weird disoriented like teeth and stuff. It's completely normal here. And these people like me have usually really problems getting like these omega fat acids from these oils, like here that, into their body. Like when I buy myself some omega-3 pills, which should be actually nutrition in your brain, usually what happens is that on my side I have like these temples. That's the brain, right? And that is also the brain. Let's say till here, from here, like a temple inside there, and on this side, like on both sides, and it's crushing my body. That comes from this paperclip thingies we have as Germans when we born in our jaws. And I have a really interesting paperclip jaw, typical paperclip jaw, but untraditional German paperclip jaw. And my does actually like, here is like a metal bracket and here's another metal bracket, and this metal bracket pushed together, and my teeth are like, it looks like they are like straight, but they are actually not straight. And depending how I bite like that, my whole like mechanical gear, which here's a metal plate and here's a metal plate, like switches rotation and it vibrates like while these temple balls I have here are like crushing my brain on top of it, so I can look funny. Which I like. I won't detest that I like looking funny. I really like that, but it's quite painful. And you look like a retard sometimes when you open your mouth. I don't like that either. Also, like Brady the Bread. We have a German comic like extra for that, for jaws like that. Berntes Brot. It's called in Germany. It's completely normal here. Everyone knows Berntes Brot. I like Berntes Brot. I like looking funny. So, but I don't really like these tensions inside here and these temple balls. And what happens is. In Germans, and hazelnut culture is like completely outdated. The Germans don't like any like hazelnut or something because that's way too Nazi. They really like panna culture, like made noodles inside water with a piece of salt, with tomato mark and water. And onions. And that's somewhat well celebrated in Germany. But the problem is, you bring like your nervous system inside your brain, like your brain. I really can think what's that about, your nervous system from your brain, and your the Galle, in German we call it Galle und Blase. It's a little bit deeper there. That's the Blase and there's the Gall. And here's the brain, right? Humans, even Germans, have usually a brain. They have a heart and they have a guy. And that guy with the heart and the brain, they form like one energy, one uniform of what's called like projection. The heart is projection realities and stuff, but that's wrong. The heart is a generator. The heart generates, and the projection comes from downwards. You get it? The projection comes from downwards. Not when you bend over, that's completely different. But the projection comes from downwards, and that's there. And it projects up, and the projection goes into your heart. And then in your heart you have to get generator. That's what said that is the projection, which is theoretically not completely wrong. And the projection happens there because you have a brain. And the brain makes the projection, whatever the projection is, which is electrosickness, and electrosickness come from a generator, not a projectionist heart or something. I have no clue which people like talked about that for literally 60 years in Germany on TV and stuff, but they actually do, and they like penna food culture, like onions and noodles and tomato mark. People in Germany have really went retarded because of them, but I can change that. I was very young when we had these antennas like everywhere. And the problem with that is once that projection from your heart, the generated projection from your guy inside your heart is like authenticating, like with the reality, because you send electricity from your heart to your hands, and that is like captured, that is like real. You see that it's completely, everything is real about it. I feel that's super real, and mirrors are a little bit freaky, but it's completely real. Everything is real, but the mirror, the picture, that's also like electric, like signals, right? And that signal is not coming from your heart. That's the crazy part. And the people in Germany with this paperclip jaws, which they birth with, this very natural, have then usually problems when they project from their heart, right? They project from their heart, and then they recept with the brain. And from the brain to the heart, it goes through your neck, and your neck makes your data, spices it up, piece. So I'm sorry, I have sometimes brain malfunctions. And the projections like become real for your brain, and your brain rewires it, and then in your neck it's like transmitting and twisting and doing boobaloos and stuff, whatever you could imagine, which could be funny. You will like that or not, no one care. But you should actually not know that. And the problem is that's making people unlimitedly retarded. I can get to a point because I'm at one point, then I'm at a second point. On the third point, like the the routine is like finished already of my thought, and I don't know where that comes from. Must have to do something with the temple balls I have, because I can't super clearly think, because I have constantly pressure inside my brain, and my jaw is like symmetrically, like dancing to my heart projection. I suppose, which is completely fine. It's completely funny. I like funny. I like things like that. But what I don't like is when like nations like Germany like giving humans advice for cooking, and this looks somewhat like that you should eat your noodles with a pesticide inside some tomato marks with water diluted with onions, and that's it, because that's cheap. Because it's cheap, that's the right alternative, which is completely bonkers. I guess I have to vape.
Depression, and sometimes even worse in terms of mental health.
So I want to definitely talk about the fixes, and we're going to get to that in a minute. But I have one kind of really
Because what I don't like with that culture and intelligence is that you begin to be incompatible to actually utilize fat acids. Like omega fat acids are actually in your brain, and they help your brain like for the proteins and stuff to stay smooth, to stay like electricity charging and stuff, to do nice things, to fluctuate your brain so you can remember better and stuff. But that intelligence of these onions and ketchup or tomato mark with penne and the price of salt is completely like damaging like the intelligence of using omega-3 fat acids in a way which actually like benefits you. The onions make you aggressive, then you have some tomato mark or tomato ketchup and stuff to slurp it up, and then you have your penne with the pries's salt and the starch of the wheat nucleoid, which is the wheat protein. The wheat protein is like the main central Lastkraftwagenfahrer member of your penne, which can like bring in or out good or bad benefits, and you put these good and bad benefits with a price of salt, which you don't do when you have rice or something like rice. You don't do that with a price of salt, but that's completely normal here. You don't do penne with price of salt. What you do is actually using water with olive oil, and then you use something which has a acidic bond to the fatty acids inside the oil which you consume, so the body can transport these fatty acids actually in your brain, right? That's looking like Augustus-Thaler, but that's actually just a lemon. That's just a lemon. And the humans in Germany, they like penne food with a price of salt. How twisted does that look? That's terrible, right? instead giving the main transporter functionary of wheat protein or starch in form of rice or something to work on with like smart things which do your brain like good things like omega-3 acids, and distributing it with a taller, you give your wheat protein Lastkraftwagen of taller like that, and it transports you omega-3 acids inside the noodles, which can generate with some other food intake like tomatoes with carbonase, because there is paprika inside and does really work well inside tomato hack when the rice and noodles are cooked with olive oil and a thaler. That does really work well together when the noodles and rice are cooked together with olive oil or something and a thaler of transportation. That is your thaler of transportation. Welcome to Germany. But here in Germany we use a piece of salt and then we put some onions inside and use tomato ketchup. That's the complete magic of Germany, and I become like retarded and ill because of Germany. Because I've believed the myth of a piece of salt. And how it did end up is actually that when I got to the idea to supplement omega-3 acids by pills, which is a good idea that still lands in your brain, what does happen here, peace, I'm not Bernd the Broad, by the way, but what does happen when these omega-3 acids fat pills go swallowed into the gut, they do something with the pig gelatine. With the pig gelatine, something nice for your brain and for your vibrations, so you can feel funny. But what actually does happen on my case, because I have that like unhumanly tension inside my skull, and every time I talk or move something, my whole body is like vroom, vroom, vroom. Everything is booming and crashing and stuff, and I have this mesotalk. I don't know where that came from. I don't even know why. No one is talking in Germany about that. But it's talking sometimes. And then it's zishing. And then when it's zishing, I forget things. But the amazing thing in my case is that my brain makes also like these signals, like boom, boom. And then I have the talks. And then it's stitching, and together with that special thoughts of funny Bernd the Broad, everyone here in Germany loves Bernd the Broad, is like uniting in my bronchia and in my heart, together with the Zischen. So everyone here in Germany likes beer. I love beer. I really love beer. Alcohol free for all beer. Pineapple beer, alcohol-free pineapple, apple cider beer, everything. And once it's zishing, I really love beer. By the way, when the body is zishing, you lose intelligence inside your brain, while my brain is actually still generating like these amazing and super funny things like boom, boom, boom. I really love my ass off all day, since I've realized that with 8 years that I will live with 33 years with that jaw like that. I really love constantly. I love Bernd the Broad. I love beer, by the way. But let's get back cooking, right? Let's get back cooking. I messed the timings up. I actually wanted to add some of the onions inside there, but I won't do that anymore. Won't be working anymore. Time-wise seen. I will just add the penne now inside the crayfish. So that's looking nice. My Viva Italia legume package, spiced for pan cooking correctly, German wise, is now ready to eat. My food is already ready to eat. German Italian style. I love Italia too, by the way, but I was never in Italia. But I find quite funny that Italia looks like a shoe. By the way. So now, where I'm a genius, by the way. Now where the noodles are inside the pan, I can add the tomato. Yeah, enough John culture. Yeah. And I think I really have to add a little bit of tomato mark yet, because that's not enough of spicy sauce, spice sauce. I think I'm gonna do that. So let's watch what happens. For anyone who wants this taller, it's there. Can have it. Bah, bah. So I've put a little bit of water inside because I will either ways use the tomato mac, and I will make it myself easy, and that's literally perfect. I will use a little bit of preserved salt just to spice it up. Perfect. That's exactly the volumeters I'm searching for. And did that work? Not completely, but it also didn't this success, right? Didn't completely this success. And that's what's nice to see. Little bit of pasta with Italian legumes. I love Italia. Wish I had some money to actually drive to Italia and spend some time in Italia. It's way more warmer in Italia than in Germany. And now there's winter here in Germany, it's cold. And in Italia it's way more warmer, and I like when it's cold. Here in Germany I like when it's cold. Then to go into Italia because there it's warmer. I really like Italia and things. I like beer. Little bit of Ivor to spice it up. I like spice. Perfect. And now just about another 10 minutes till 15 minutes cooking time. But I won't get that on the camera, I think, completely. but I will cook it for a couple minutes to see like how it's finishing off. Let's see how it's finishing off. My noodles, how they are finishing off. Let's see that. And that is now looking nice. I could add a little bit of curcuma, other spices to make it even more impressionable. Let's see if I have some seta over, because that could be interesting. And it's basically nothing, but I will use that nothing to make a gain. That's what we do. Not as Germans, but as emancipated superhumans. Right? That sounds completely dumb. I've got to be honest here. So my food is basically ready to go. I just need to wait. We'll leave that for like a minute, 30 seconds on 2.5. Then I will put it a bit down on 2.0. But first I have to get the cigarette. I can still smoke with you guys. I have the time to smoke a cigarette with you. So I think that's enough. Wait, I will, after the noodles have been cooked in oil, but there was no oil inside the sauce, add a little bit of olive oil, a bit too much, but I like olive oil too, and give it a squash, and then wait for it. I will wait the complete cooking process out, and then it's ready to eat. Then it's ready to eat. But you won't see that anymore. That's my idea of panna culture, like ketchup with Zwiebel, with Prise salt, noodles, which is completely whack. But that is looking nice. I could add a fillet of fish, a rinder hack steak or something inside there. Would be tasting phenomenal. Peace.
For exercise, we get a specific blood flow increase to the brain. So that's, dilation of blood vessels from exercise, and we get more blood flow to the brain. That's going to be beneficial. More nutrients coming in, more waste products coming out. That's great. People talk about the effects of exercise on increasing BDNF, brain-derived neurotrophic factor, which
Doesn't work really.
adds the ability for neurons to connect to each other more. Each neuron connects to thousands of neurons, but the more they can connect to others,
Wait.
the more
I've
flexible
drank,
the brain is, the more
by the way, one of these energies. I will show them one more time to you, because I have the time for it. It's Kong Strong. Wait a second, I have the new trousers. You didn't saw it before me talking, because YouTube did delete the latest video of mine, because they said like the pictures I have here are pornographic material. They literally blocked my video because I had pornographic material showing on that display like that. My new trousers, my new pullover. I will make that's from the back side. Hope you can see that. Maybe like that. Cough. I will put. That's it. I have like problems like perspective wise, but my new pullover, my new trousers, my new energy drink. Kong Strong White Power. White Power Kong Strong with vanilla flavor, energy drink plus coffee. That's basically a coffee with taurine. Because what does it say? Is it in English too? Probably not. That's just German. I will translate that for you very easily. That's Kaffeeaufguss, coffee 51%, and then 40% mega milk, the low fat milk with Sahne. How is it called? I forgot. Like the high fat milk, taurin stabilizer, and there's natrium cellulose and carboxymethyl cellulose and caramel sugar syrup. Natürlich Aroma, Natriumcitrat, Natriumcarbonat, Koffein, Ginseng-Extract, Inositol, Glucuron, Lacton, Riboflavin, and no artificial sweeteners. And that's an energy drink. I bought five of them literally directly when I've seen them inside the Lidl store. That was the best thing this week, to see that Kong Strong White Power Kong Strong vanilla flavor energy drink plus coffee, and then see that's coffee with taurine inside the Lidl. That was the best thing in this week. I think for me, I don't speak for everyone here.
Liken it to a calm brain is a fast brain. Yeah, you're clicked on. You're extremely just acutely aware of everything that's going on. You're really calm.
I won't really pull that off, but it's literally coffee with taurine and some ginseng and glucuronolactone.
I mean, I wish I knew all the answers to that. I mean, those are great questions. But yeah, I think it's probably more. I mean,
That's how I look when I'm drinking it.
Serotonin, dopamine, norepinephrine, all of those things are involved in those.
Kong Strong, right? That's Kong Strong. Why is it Kong? Because Kong is a gorilla.
That's exactly what people are trying to pull.
It's a really cool gorilla, and that's how you drink that. You drink that not weak as fuck, but and not like a chimpanzee. Like you don't drink that, but you drink that strong, like that, like that.
How they want to get into these processes, but ultimately
You do
this is what
that.
we got to get for true mental health.
And I really like that. I really like German culture. Germany is the best.
Relationship with ketones and serotonin. Do we know much there?
I don't think we know much.
Yeah.
Yeah, and like a different paradigm essentially of mental health. I mean, we've been stuck in the serotonin paradigm for so long. Really,
It's quite calm today. I like that. I like it when it's calm. No thunders. There. Fuck. Holy shit. The cigarette fell down on my pullover, but it's not burnt, I think. I'm really lucky today. Maybe not. I better don't talk anymore because worse things can happen, like cigarette falling on my trousers. That would be a disaster, honestly. But it's quite calm today. Today there's no weird aerial object happening, no thunders, no atom bombs. Very cool. Bill Gates must be sleepy because of the airplanes too, I think. But on the other hand, it's also not so easy to get like atom bombs or atom tons or something, like dirty atom tons, like bonked behind planes over civilian, completely normal civilian states, right? So that's also not super easy. Maybe Bill Gates is not so sleepy as I said. When you see a aerial object which could interest me, please leave me a comment. But I suggest there's absolutely nothing there. That's just just the sky and no ion thunders or something. No, like whirlwinds or something. Anything like that. Like electromagnetic, like guided whirlwind of some sort or something. Yeah. When I'm done with the cigarette, I will go off to the either other side. Let's see if there's a mesa storm or something. Probably not. You won't see that either ways. I won't see that either ways either. When I have the time, because the storage space could be going like off the roof. Could happen. Maybe I will still pack that on. You could see my penne one last time before I consume it. Huh? I really like how quiet it is in this town. Boop de boo. So let's see the penne one last time.
Get us food. Let's go get some ketones. Now your brain has all the energy it needs, and you don't feel hungry anymore. And so people know, like, 2-3 days into a fast, when their ketone levels are super high, they don't feel hungry anymore. Right? It's the direct effect of ketones on the brain.
Yeah, because it's not like, I'm sure if your brain was clicked on to wanting to eat, you'd feel hungry. It's not, anyone that's ever done that, it's not like your body's not, it's up here. It's something switches in your brain, something switches in your mind. It's not just that very few people are actually,
The child you saw there eventually is the child of my cousin Michael, but they are basically, I don't really know how that works here in Germany, but they are basically family of Kollega, the child with the bucket on the head.
Send all those hunger signals out. But if they have all the ketones they
And the
want,
child
they've
has
got
a
all the
brother, a
ketones they
twin
need,
brother,
they're
and
not
they are
saying hungry.
psychoanalytic geniuses. They
That's
basically
why
don't
people
talk here
almost
anymore.
universally notice on a
They
ketogenic
just
diet,
look at things
they
and
don't feel
at
hungry.
each
They're
other,
hungry.
and they don't talk.
It's one of the
But
reasons
it's
I have
cool
we
to
have
see them.
mixed
They are
feelings
from
on
Kollega's family.
ketogenic
My
diets. Are they suffering by
My
your
cousin
habits?
Michael is a
I'm not the
genius,
biggest fan of
and
everything just
they
jumping
are
on them, but I
genius.
also
And
understand from an
how's
insulin
it called?
resistance standpoint and its true
Not
mechanism of
pomelos.
action.
Pomelos is the fruit,
Like
but
perhaps
the
for some
Pokemon.
people, it's actually
It's not
changing
Pam,
the
but
insulin
let's say
resistance in your
pomelo.
brain to a degree that they really,
But
really
they are
do block
pomelo
these
spirits. Really
peptides
cool to
in
see.
blocking
They're
GLP-1s.
really fun, even
Maybe
when
they
they
have
don't
actually a
talk.
fighting chance of actually having lasting changes in the brain, right? So yeah, and that's a perspective that I don't know if people talk about all the time because it's. So I have mixed feelings on it because I do think about it from that perspective of like, hey, if we could get the brain firing on all cylinders, then you're gonna feel like you're in more control of what you're eating.
Yeah, I've got mixed feelings too, but I do use them for some people to help them transition into.
So let's look my penne. And I've burnt my penne. That's really bad. I've burnt my penne. Honestly, the raw food is not messed up. Not a problem, because messing up your food by overcooking it, like burning it, is super easy here in Germany. Probably in America too, because they are all fat. And that's the minus point of using olive oil and lemons. You can't really like burn the food. Once it's burnt, the raw food is like basically garbage. Accidents, not really happy. I'm a little bit pissed, but a really nice pro point to use your penne inside water with just a piece of salt and use some onions and ketchup or tomato mark with some water. You can burn the shit out. The salt doesn't care, but the olive oil with the citrus acid and the penne will actually care, and the bitter stuff inside there with the tomatoes, that will actually care a lot with the carbon and stuff. But when you use your penne just panna style with salt and water and some ketchup and onions, that won't be a thing. You can eat that on mass and it's not that bad as right. Something fat. It's just dirt bags. The major thunderstorms come usually from there. Like there is a nice spot, there is a nice spot, there's also a nice spot. But it's really calm and really like cleaned up sky. I like that. I like the clean look of the sky today, and it's really calm. Some nice Christmas lighting, and the sky is cleaned up. That's really nice. Everything cool. So I will go in now and we'll stop the video because it's 1 hour long. It's already way too long. And then I will put the penne into a dish and eat that and feel a little bit pissed because it's bad food now. But have a nice day. Peace.